tax evasion, you got tax avoidance. Tax evasion is not legal. I'm like, shit, what do I do now? Police was onto me. I realised I was making money for nothing, just by phone calls. I've turned my empire into like a 7-figure enterprise.
Ricky, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. Thank you for coming down to the stool today. So as usual, guys, we're going to jump straight into it. Tell me about your childhood, where you grew up.
So I grew up I was born in a place in Wolverhampton called Bushbury. I was there till about 6. Then I moved to a place called New Park Village, and I was there until I was about 21.
Yeah.
I had a little spell of living in Whitmarines. I was between Whitmarines and Park Village from about the age of 16 to 21.
Yeah.
But yeah, Park Village is the ends where I grew up. I grew up in a household with my mum and dad, luckily. They've always been together, still together now, both 60. Well, my mum was 60 yesterday. Dad's coming 60. Been together all of my life, married. Grew up in a household with my 2 big brothers. And all my family lived on Park Village, like all my mum's sisters and uncles, and all my uncles and aunties all lived on Park Village, and my nan. And
Yeah.
Park Village was basically my family.
Primary school, secondary school, how was that for you?
So I went to a school on Park Village called Trinity. Good school. My kids actually went to that school as well. Some of my kids. And then I moved on from there to a school called Thomas Telford, which is known as one of the best public schools in the country.
Okay.
So I was I was the first kid from Trinity to ever get into that school, because like over 1,000 people apply. You've got to take a test and you've got to be elite at something in order to get in. I do actually believe it's not academic isn't the reason why I got in. I think it was because I was decent at football at that time, and my dad is from a football background and was managing at that time. So I think that was kind of why I was able to probably get into the school at the time. I was at that school for 2 years. When I started that school, it was very new. The school was built in the 90s. So like it was very much like I explained it to people at the time as like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It was very different, like classical music playing in the background. Like it wasn't for me. I'm from the hood, like Park Village is where I grew. I went to Trinity, so that is what I knew. When I went to that school, there was probably in the whole school maximum 10 coloured people in the whole school. So it was just a dynamic I wasn't used to. I was given a proposition in year 8. I either basically leave or get kicked out. So
Really?
I wasn't a bad kid, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I think they just wasn't ready for my energy. I think if it was now, it'd be a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
I ended up going to a school called St Edmunds in Wolverhampton, normal public school. Finished all the way through, got my GCSEs there. I attempted college, didn't stick to it. Then I applied for the army. I got in. I went to Harrogate, that's in North Yorkshire, as a 16-year-old. I went there, I lasted like 4 days because literally it wasn't for me. I went there ill. With a chest infection, and I couldn't get no medication because the doctor's notes hadn't come over yet.
Yeah.
So I literally lasted like 4 days. They were trying to get me out in the snow, picking up flipping rubbish in the middle of like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I read the small print about 4.5 years minimum serve. I was like, no, safe for me. So I left, and that was the last time. But tell a lie, after that I got a job. No, later on after that, my only employment was the army, and then I went on to work at Asda for about 3 weeks. I'll come on to that a bit after. And then that's probably been my only employment in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was 16
16.
years
So
old.
my first employment was 16 army. Then my next employment was Asda when I was 17. I'd done about 3 weeks, got 3 weeks pay slip, and never worked for anybody ever again.
So when you went to the army at 16, because I know, well, I'm under the assumption anyway that you can't just leave.
This is what I'm saying. So when I went for that, I had to sign the oath. And then when you're in there, there's like a paper you have to sign to kind of basically say that you're given a minimum serve of 4.5 years. I've read the small print and I've seen that. And that's when I said, you know what, now you're signing it, I'm gone.
At 16, though, that's quite not... It's something you would expect from like someone older, do you know, to like read the fine print.
I've always been like, people say I'm overripe from young. So I've always kind of been inner. So I was that kid that was always asking questions that annoyed people. Like I would ask questions. It is annoying because I see a lot of kids do it with me now, and I respect it because it kind of helped me transition and make that move. But I was always someone that was always wants to be amongst older people. I always wanted to hang around with older children. I always wanted to be around adults. I never wanted to sit in the room with the kids. I wanted to sit in the room with the adults. I've always kind of had that mindset anyway. So hearing that word blue, like small print, it was always in my head. So when I'm looking through now and I see that, I feel other people left because of it, because they didn't clock it. So when I've called it out,
Yeah.
a few other people was like, whoa, 4.5 years, like doing this for 4.5 years. Obviously, they break you, and for them first few days, they tried to really break you. And I wasn't on no one shouting and cussing, and literally I wasn't on it like at all.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
just like, I was gone. And to be honest, it's the best thing I ever done.
Mm.
It was.
Good. So you went on to ASDA. That only lasted 3 weeks. Is there a reason why you only stayed for 3 weeks?
Again, I think it was so there was 2 supervisors. I was told to do one thing by one supervisor, so I started doing it. Another supervisor asked me to do something, so I started doing it. That old supervisor come back and was like, Ricky, I told you to do this. And I was like, but such and such told me to do that. Well, I've told you to do that. So then I've gone and done that. That supervisor come back and says to me, Ricky, what are you doing? I've told you. I was like, yo, what do you want me to do? Like, I've been told by 2 people to do 2 different things.
Yeah.
They kind of got into an argument with them. I said, I've done this. I ain't coming back. Like, I wasn't into it. So I give up ASDA. Obviously, all of this was going on though. Like for argument's sake, that as the role, I didn't want to be at ASDA. It's just that the partner I was with at the time, she was a couple of years older than me. She was working. She wanted to kind of be righteous.
Yeah.
I wanted to be, at this time, growing up as a kid, I wanted to be a bad man. Like that was who I want. There wasn't a question of, some people be like, oh, you're just born into it or you just grew up in it. Like, yeah, I was around it. I was amongst it. I've got family that are very serious all up and down the country. But I wanted to be the baddest. Like there was a time where I did want to be a bad man. Like there's no question.
But where did that? Because I would say that happens to a lot of children. Like it's an actual thing. Where does that come from? Is that from seeing it?
So my brother is about what? So I'm 34, he's 41 coming. I'm coming 30. So he's about 7 years older than me. So when I'm like 14, he's in dramas and I'm witnessing all of this. And I've got no control of what's happening. I can't do nothing. I can't help. But again, he was my role model. He was someone I looked up to a lot. So when I'm seeing him in dramas, I was trying to pick up the pieces. And my ambition then was to be like him. So then when it come to a point where, for argument's sake, it's like you got different age groups in it. So he was like an elder, although he was like young amongst the elder generation.
Yeah.
I was amongst the youngers. So my motto was, any of the people that he's got argument with, their youngers now will become my enemies. So then I got into dramas with those areas, and anytime I seen them, it was like on site kind of thing. So I picked up them kind of pieces, and then I got an adrenaline out of it. I liked the fact that I was good at what I was doing. I was good at terrorizing individuals. I was good at it. So it's like anything in it. Once you become good at something and you getting ratings and the ego's getting boosted and all of that's taking place, you kind of latch onto that feeling.
Yeah.
And
like the respect and power.
yeah,
kind of
it was the respect and the power, and even the attention from like walking the street, and when I turn up at parties and everyone kind of be like, Jacko's here, Jacko's here. So it's like all of that is like an ego boost. But prior to all of that, all through my junior school and infants, I was a soft kid. I was tough at home with my brothers. They used to tump me up and I fight back. But when it comes to people in school, like through juniors and year 7, year 8, I was soft. Like I didn't have it in me to. I would say I was actually bullied by males and females. So it's like when I got to then the age of like, there was a rumor. I'll tell you the truth. So I started year 9 at St Edmunds, and there was a rumor that I had the strength of an 18-year-old when I was in year 9. I didn't correct it.
Yeah.
I thought this is this was my kind of way through. So there was I know what it was. He's one of my close friends. He's very close to me now, like a brother. He knew me from prior to going to that school. So he was telling everybody, Ricky's starting the school. He's got the strength of an 18-year-old. He's not normal. Right? So I played along with it, and kind of like that was it was kind of like a lie that became the truth, because then I had to kind of prove the lie.
Yeah.
So then once I realized I was good and I was doing a bit of boxing and I was knocking people out from a young age, from like year 9, I was literally putting people to sleep. So I had that reputation of being a fighter, and my brother had a reputation in the elder generation.
Yeah.
So from a younger generation, from my elder generation, we kind of had it kind of covered in Wolves.
Yeah.
And again, I actually loved it. Like, it wasn't a question of like, if I could have changed it, would I? No, I wouldn't. Um, you have to go through some form of trauma or some form of bad experience or something to kind of make that change.
Yeah.
And obviously at 19, no, at 20, I actually did go through something, which we'll probably come on to again after.
So you're in the Asda, you still want to be bad. You left Asda. What we doing now?
I used to dabble, selling a little bit of weed. That was my thing. On accident, literally, like I wasn't even intending to do it. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was probably, out of all my little peers, I was probably the brokest one out of all of us. Like, I remember like having to like borrow change to get like the Mackies and all that from a young
Yeah.
age. And but again, I had at the time, my kid's mum, who I've got kids with now, she was very much like, you need to fix up, you need to fix up. I seen her, she was kind of looking after me. She brought my first ever G-Star.
Yeah.
She was paying for my trims when I used to have hair. So like, it was very much, but so I think kind of like knowing that I come from a household where my dad's very supportive, like a strong provider, kind of the man, real man in the household. And my mum was kind of just like the one that nurtured the household and made sure the house was looked after. Very much, very traditional. I grew up in that setting, so I knew that was how it's meant to be. So I kind of felt embarrassed the fact that I wasn't able to provide the way I should have. She got pregnant very young. Well, I was 17, she was 19. And I wasn't able to provide. I couldn't even look after myself. So it was a case of I wanted to do everything in my power to kind of give my family at the time some form of some future, some reassurance, some protection, some support.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then again, I still did want to make her happy in a sense of I didn't want to be on this badness because she witnessed some serious stuff and was exposed. And she was, when I'm coming in late and all them kind of things, she's obviously worrying that I'm going to be getting caught up in a lot of stuff. And I learned from people around me. I've seen a lot of people go to jail for selling drugs. I've seen a lot of people go to jail for crime. I've seen a lot of people go to jail for murder and all that, family and close friends. And I've seen a lot of people pass away and get killed and whatnot. So I also knew from them age groups, say 17, 18, 19, that it can't be forever. I always knew then that there needed to be some form of, not say, well, say exit strategy, but also a real plan of action.
Yeah.
So when I done a Princess Trust course, that's when I was 17, and I got some money and I set up a mobile car wash when I was 18. So from the age of 18, that's when I've been self-employed all the way to now.
Oh wow.
So I was washing cars. I was the one that made, like, I'm taking this straight. Like, no one can tell me no different. I'm taking this. So car washes at the time when the Kurdish and that started setting the customers started setting up car washes, the big yellow signs with the black writing, which you probably still see now.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at that and thought I needed to add a little bit of something to it. So I made it colourful. So I made it blue, red and white, like like Great Britain colours. That's what I done.
Yeah.
And I made car washes, wash and dry, £5, which she's still getting now.
It's still, yeah.
I was the one that set that price.
Yeah.
Like, because at the time it was like wash for like a £5, and then your dry was like an extra £2. So I just done wash and dry £5. And then I done mini valets at a tenner. So I kind of undercut the market. And then there was a place in Wolverhampton called Strikers, which was like a bowling alley. And I realised that it was always dead. But somebody who I look up to is such a, like, he was a big guy on the road. But I looked up to him like mad. He was like my real idol to when it comes to making money.
Yeah.
He had everything that I wanted. He was driving Ferraris, he had Porsches, he had Range Rovers, Lamborghinis. His missus was dressed in Ed Hardy head to toe. She had veneers, she had platinum chains. I'm talking, I'm like 17, 18. Like,
Yeah.
this is like a footballer in the flesh. Do you know what I mean? So when he used to always drink at this place called the Strikers, and I've gone there and it was dead. And no one was bowling. And I was like, he's got no custom coming through the door at this time. So I went and I says to the guy, I was like, chat to the owner for me. I says, what about if I put a car washer on the back? I'll do a deal to get people to come in and use his facilities. When I'm washing the car, they'll come and play bowling. So just let him give me the spot. I'll get people through the door. So we trialed it. So I literally got his premises on the back car park for free. I set up a deal where you either mini valet for £10 and you get one game of bowling.
Yeah.
No one plays bowling by themselves. It was right around the corner from a gypsy camp. So all the gypsies now were coming to me to wash their car. I was saying to them, you can get a mini valet for a game of bowling. So then now I had a load of people getting their cars mini valeted, and now he's got custom inside his place with playing bowling, and then people that he's with are buying the game of bowling. So now he's getting clientele.
Yeah.
So I literally had that car wash, I had that running. So then I had it set up with a couple of guys from Park Village, friends of mine. I got them running the car wash, washing, and I was going around on the van doing them at companies. So going around and washing cars at companies and charging like more like £25 a car, and they were saying, come every week, come every week. So that kind of put me in a position to make legal income.
Yeah.
That led on to, I had that going till I was about 21. So from 18 to 21, I was running, paying all my taxes, making sure, because again, I've seen people making mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, you know what? If you want to go through, you've got to, although I hate paying tax, you've got to
Got
pay
to
it.
do, yeah.
You've got to do it. Unless you don't want to pay no tax, go to buy.
Yeah.
But if you want to pay, if you want to get through, you've got to pay tax. So I'd done that from a young age. But again, I was still on badness. Which kind of, when I talk about it takes something, kind of, I'm going to get close to that time now where that's kind of what happened.
Before you carry on, what you're, because usually badness comes with money, yeah, but you were making money, so why did you feel like you still needed to be doing that?
Because my badness was never rolled about making dough. It was about status. And ego is pride's cousin, and it's the biggest killer. Ego is like, especially for men, it is the one thing that can really mess a man up. And
Yeah.
I was bullied. Remember, so I come from a bullied childhood. So it was like, when I got to a point where I started getting my get back, because everybody who bullied me, I got them back. Like, even, like, I'm not even joking, like, I'm not saying no names, but we're cool now with a lot of these people. But there was one guy that literally, I'll never forget it. Like, I was probably about year 7, year 8. So I was probably about 11, 12. And it still pisses me off now, I'll be honest. I remember being on the ends, and this kid had some traumatic situation at home, and someone on the estate clocked to what had gone on. And the rumor was that I was promoting some things that took place at his house, and it was nothing to do with me. So mum trying to explain to him, it's got nothing to do with me, slapped me in my face. And I just took it, and he goes, I'll move over there, I'll move over there, slapped me in my face again, I'll move over there, move over there. And he'd done this on video and he's recorded, you know. This is like, and it was recorded on the camera recorder. That's how phone, none of us had phones, it was on a camera recorder. And he slapped me up, and I took it. And then obviously I used to get battered by my brothers for allowing stuff to happen. And then I remember the first time I got into a situation where I got told that someone's going to rush me at the end of the day, and I was scared. And I thought, you know what? My brothers are stronger than them. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Like if I go home, I'm going to get battered by my brothers, if I'm getting battered. So if I'm going to just try. And I beat up this one kid. And then that was the first time I realized what adrenaline rush was, when I felt it all here. And I felt like a feeling of like wanting to basically kill him. Like, it was that feeling of like, oh, nothing could hurt me. Like, I was untouchable. And I got addicted to that feeling. And then I kept chasing that feeling. It was like a drug by itself. So anytime there was any form of situation where it could go off, I wanted it to, because I wasn't letting no one bully me. And then even when it comes to dramas, no one actually directly troubled me, really. All my problems came from my friends getting troubled by somebody, and I took that as bullying. So then I was like in defense mode all the time. So if any one of my friends got into any politics, I was stepping in, boom, knocking them out. There was no question. I was very loyal to my friends. I was very loyal to everyone around me. If anyone got into any drama, I was the first one to throw hands. And I think that was one of the things that kind of I got addicted to. I was scrapping every single week. My dad's getting phone calls, but my dad's a good guy. He's not like, my dad's obviously these times. Yeah, my dad's not Christian yet. My dad's not in church, but he's on the road. Like, of trying to get there. I come from a Christian family, my grandma and whatnot. But yeah, my mum and dad literally had 3 Rottweilers in the household that just was on madness. One of the guys that used to work at the car wash for me, very close, he was a twin. Goosebumps. He was like my little brother. He was 17. He was 17. I was 20, and we was together all the time. He kind of like, anything that was mine that was that I never wanted again, I'd give it him. It'd come to mind. Like, he would have my son. My son was 1. He'd try and tell my son to call him dad, like taking the mick. We was very, very close.
Yeah.
And something occurred that day in town where one of our friends got into some politics and got rushed and whatnot. And we wanted to get some form of get back and whatnot. And that same evening, we're in a situation where we're all together, and one of the oldest from the estate, someone who we all respect or got a lot of time for and a lot of love for at the time, Still good now, obviously, because it was an accident. He pulled out a firearm, and not knowing it was loaded, and he's pulled the trigger back. Well, the gun's gone off, and he shot the one that says the twin dead in his bedroom, in front of us on accident. He served his time and whatnot, and I was as close as this to the person, and that kind of like, I would say that was obviously a shock, but it was that between then and the burial of when I realized that this shit is real,
Yeah.
because everyone's mourning, but we still got shit to do. We still had to think about funeral. We still had to look about his brothers, his mum and friends, and there's trauma, and the ends is a mess now because he's like these are like they're 17, so these are the youngest of the ends, and we're a close knit area, like everybody's responsible for everyone. So when that's happened, it was like Park Village was never the same from that day. Anyone who's watching this who knows Park Village, from that day, Park Village has never been the same. It's mad because like obviously he's an identical twin. So it's like we've never not seen him because his identical twin's still here now. And his identical twin's doing so well. Like I'll be honest with you, I keep getting goosebumps when I'm flipping out. Our little section on Park Village, I've got to give credit where credit's due. The odds was against us. And every single one of us that was part of that whole thing or smashing it.
That's good.
And it's defo him working through us. Definitely, that's part and parcel of it, because everyone owns yards, everyone owns businesses, everyone's got family. Some of them are getting married. Like between us, we've done madness. And I'll be straight. Like if I talk about Wolverhampton as a whole, as a section from the road, I would say we're probably number one. Like as a section. You obviously have different people who are doing well, hands down. Like there's a lot of different people from the different ends, but as a collection of people who grew together, who was on badness, who witnessed stuff, and I'm not talking just working a job for somebody, which is not. I'm not saying that's bad or wrong. I'm talking running companies and buying up houses. Like every single one of us. If it's not me buying something, it's one of them. If it's not him, it's that one. We're doing madness, and as I said, the odds was against us. It was never written. Like it was never written. I've always kind of been the one who's always been ambitious and kind of been like, we can do this, and the rest of them would laugh and kind of, yo, it's not possible. Even amongst the elder ones, I used to try and say we should do this, we should do that, and they used to look at me, it's not that easy, it's not that easy. But I proved it, and I made a move, and I bought my first house when I was 21, on the back of my car wash, and that kind of set the pace, and I think it kind of, well, I'm going to say, whether people want to say it or not, I'm going to say that kind of would have been some form of fuel in people's fire to be like, you know what, this is what man needs to be doing. And then everyone started to make mad moves.
It's like I can do it too.
Yeah,
kind of
100%. And none of us gatekeeped. So like I'm always happy to like reach out and give insight and advice and share ideas. And I'm proud of all of them, like literally, like all of them. Like I love them all. They've all done mad well, and I'm buzzing for them.
So what was it like buying your own house at 21? Because that's still very young.
You know what? It's mad. Like as I said, it's overripe, because when I look at 21-year-old now, I wouldn't even advise it. I wouldn't know how to explain how to do it or why to do it. Like at 21. Obviously, if you come from a stock, like my son now, like my children, yes, I can see them doing it 18, 19, because they're gonna have a startup through me. But I didn't have that startup. I was my own startup kind of thing. But yeah, like it's crazy because I bought the house and I had a bit of dough put down. And I lost it all. But I lost a lot of money. Literally probably about two months into having the house. I had money in the bank to go and pay bills, and I knew I had a month left of bills. So then when I lost everything, I had a house, it was a 3-bedroom semi-detached house in the suburbs. And when I had this house, and I've literally got one bill, like I know I got one mum's bills in my bank, but I know I got dough. But when my dough's gone missing and it's gone, I'm like, shit. Like, what do I do now? But it's crazy because I read a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, after I bought my house. And in there it said, it says about the difference between liabilities and assets. And liabilities is something that takes money out your pocket, and assets something that puts money in your pocket. But before that, I'm thinking buying a house is an asset. It is. if it's putting money in your pocket. But because I
Yeah.
was living in the liability, it's a liability because it's taking money out of my pocket. So it was like I was thinking I shouldn't have brought this to live in. I didn't need no. I couldn't even keep the house warm in the sense of like right. I was only occupying my bedroom.
Mhm.
I didn't occupy the living room, the big back
Mhm.
garden. I didn't occupy it. I literally had only occupied my bedroom. I'm out till late, coming home late, so I'm going to my bed. So
Mhm.
the only rooms I occupied was the bathroom and my bedroom.
Yeah.
So I did. So again, it was a purchase that I didn't need to do. I think I could say if I didn't do it, would I be where I am now? Would I be more ahead? But I had to kind of learn, and that purchase was enough to kind of make me like, okay, you know what? Now, anything I buy now. And then I had like an older cousin who says to me one time, like after that, he goes, "Don't buy nothing you can't buy 3 times unless it's an asset."
Mhm.
So if I can't buy it 3 times, I'm not buying it unless it's going to make me money.
Yeah.
So kind of like from that information that he shared with me, from me having that house, it was like anything I bought now, I made sure like if I'm spending money on something, it's going to put money in my pocket. Unless I can buy it 3 times. If I'm going to buy a kettle, if I'm going to buy designer, whatever. If I can't buy it 3 times, and I don't mean buy it 3 times and still have money. I mean buy it 3 times, and if I lost that money, would it affect me? Would it be a case of it gives me a sleepless night, or does it piss me off for the day? If it pisses me off for the day, then don't buy it if I can't buy it 3 times.
Yeah.
But an asset, I'll sell everything to buy an asset because I know that I've got the capabilities to, even if I lost it all, to get it back.
I'm assuming after this, you realize the house is a liability. I need to now make it an asset. I'm assuming that you started renting the house out.
No, so what happened was I was running the business, remember, but not knowing what I was doing.
Mhm.
I learnt my craft on the road. I learned, so like, let's say you buy something, you sell it for more than you purchased it for, and you've got a profit.
Mm.
When I'm doing it, I'm just doing it knowing that I've got to make more money than what I spent.
Yeah.
I wanted to sit in rooms with people who were better than that. And in order for me to be in those rooms, I need to understand terminologies of those people in that room. So that guy that I said that was sitting in the pub,
Mhm.
that says that was like I looked up to, he gave me an accountant. And me and his accountant became close, and he was teaching me and he was showing me how I got to maneuver and this, that, and the other. But then I had role models like Frank Lucas, that American gangster.
Mm.
I was looking at people like El Chapo and Escobar, and I was looking at all of these people, and I was looking at them and I was saying, okay, where did they go wrong? Where did Frank Lucas go wrong? Why did he go to jail? Why did Nicky Barnes not like him? Like I was looking at all of these real life stories that I probably had switched up a little bit. I read their books and whatnot.
Yeah.
50 Cent, Get Rich Die Trying, all of it. I looked at all of them. I thought, okay, where was they going wrong? And again, ego killed everybody.
Mm.
Ego locked up everyone. Not knowing when to stop, not knowing to give up. I was done on the road from 21.
Mm.
Like I was done. I knew like I always knew that I just needed that head start. I didn't need it forever. I don't know anybody now who's on the road then, that's on the road now, that's sustained that income, that's got dough, that's on the road killing it and retires or dies, an old man on the road.
Yeah.
They all go jail. They all get hit with proceeds of crime. They all get fucked. I don't know anybody personally. I'm not saying there's nobody out there, but I don't know anybody personally. So I kind of knew that, listen, this isn't a longevity thing. This is like, you need to get out because they're going to get you. And the police was onto me. The police were really, really, really onto me. I don't know what, I think when it was, because I was so on badness and my brother was so on badness, I think there was a lot of people involved chatting, running to police with information. Because a lot of the times police would come and I'm thinking, I don't even deal in that game. Like,
Yeah.
why are you even coming to me? But that's obviously they say intelligence, intelligence, intelligence. So people are chatting. So I kind of knew, I was like, you know what, I don't want to go jail. I don't want to be on this badness no more. I want to be a role model for my son. I want to make money. I want to be rich. I want to be a multimillionaire. Like I want to all that.
Do you think people were like going to the police because they couldn't fathom someone coming from where you guys came from having
100%.
the amount of money that you have or
100%.
assets?
And you know what's crazy? Like I'll be straight with you. I know a man on the road that are cleaning stupid numbers and they've got way more than what I had before I locked off. And they're still doing it. And I can't get my head around it. Like, what are you doing it for? What? How long are you doing it for? But yeah, I just feel like now the youths, them are on badness and some of them are making money, some of them are not. But a lot of the people that are making money, they're still making money on the road and they don't need to be. They really don't. They just need, the roadman are the baddest business owners, the entrepreneurs. You just got to switch your product and you've got a business.
I was gonna say, I think you said it that you learned your craft from.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So like where I was going, like I wanted to enter those rooms. So when I was in 2014, I think it was, I would have been about 22, 23. I went to uni. to do a business course because I wanted to understand what I was doing. And when I realized, I was like, "Rah, like you was a raw on business," because I used to operate like a businessman.
Yeah.
So, but I just put term and I just be like gross profit, net profit, liabilities, asset, and positive equity, negative equity. All of these things I learned, and I picked up all of these words and all these way of doing things and how to do things and strategic and all of these things I implemented into day to day stuff. But I was doing it, but not knowing what I was doing. So if anybody asked me, I was just, I don't know. But
Yeah.
now I could actually tell you straight. Like if I was sitting down with a road you and have a conversation with him, and he's saying about he's buying this food and buying it and mixing it up and turning it into this, and I could break it down to him as a business and be like, okay, well that's the exact same thing you do in a food shop.
Mhm.
That's the exact same thing you do in a bar. Like you're doing the same thing. You're buying a product and you're probably dashing a little seasoning on it and whatnot, making that food become something nice. And now you're selling it for more that you paid for it. You've done the exact same thing, but you've done it with one thing that's illegal where you're dodging the taxman and the police.
Mm.
And now all you got to do is try and avoid paying as much tax as possible. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the only difference.
Yeah.
But that's where like I feel it comes into a lack of education, and I don't think it's an accident. I don't think they want people to know.
Mm. I agree.
They want people to be in them positions. It keeps
Mhm.
people in jobs, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. So you went to uni. How long was the course for?
3 years.
3 years. That's a big deal. Like saying I'm just good because it takes up a lot of your
Yeah,
time,
but you
doesn't
know,
it?
respectfully, like I've got two baby mums,
Hmm.
and my second one, she was at uni and she was doing law. And when I seen she was doing it, I actually thought like, because in school I wasn't academically clever at all, like at
Hmm.
all. But when she was doing it, I was looking at some of the stuff, I could do it. Like I was actually doing some of the work.
Hmm.
And I kind of wanted to be in that environment because I didn't like it was keeping me occupied then.
Yeah.
So when I went to uni and when I done the course, I was very good at it.
Mm.
Like I won an award when I graduated, like a national award for like entrepreneurship because I was good at business.
Hmm.
And I kind of set up my business in my last year at uni. So there was one so there was a time where you had to like one of the part courses was you had to get a business and you had to break it down and say what could you have done with that business to make it better, to make it more money that year. So I kind of was like, so I was like, can it be a business idea that I've got that says no, it has to have a company number and be set up?
Mm.
So I went on and set up the business. I went back to you next day. I said, it's got a company number.
Yeah.
So there was like, you know what? Like you beat the system, like you
Hmm.
can. So that's where my nickname got. I was Jacko. So
Hmm.
that's when I tried to transition away from that name Jacko.
Hmm.
And then I set up the business through uni, kind of using uni's like expertise and all the professors and all the teachers to kind of find a way how I can shape a company that's not been done,
Yeah.
where it was very much client focused,
Hmm.
which is where I set up my property business called The Link.
Yeah.
So that's where my name, The Link, comes from. That's what's on my chain, The Link, of
Hmm.
my branding's The Link. And that's still running now. And so I set it up around 2014, 2015. And literally all it was is like I had like gates and outside my house and pillars and whatnot, and like a concrete print dryer. And all the neighbors, oh, who done that? Who done this? And I was literally like, oh, John, can John come give me a quote? So I was like, yeah. So John, can you give him a quote? Put me a drink on. No
Mm.
different to the road.
Yeah.
like, but even on the road, that's what I was like. I was the link. That's
Mm.
what I was on. Like I was just a connect. Who's done this? Who done that? Who can put cameras up? Go to Paul. Go to Corey. Yo, Corey, go and put this on. Yeah, put me a drink on. I realized I was making money for nothing just by phone calls.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, this is going to turn this into a company. So when I was at uni, I went back and I set it up. And at first, it was just commission based, which at the time it wasn't taxable.
Hmm.
So I was just making dough.
Yeah.
Set it up. I got business cards. I was literally going around saying, look, I got this, I got that. So all I was saying to people, I've got electricians, I got plumbers, I got this. And then one of my cousins had a barber shop, and in there he had his not father-in-law, his stepdad working in there doing work, and he had his brother in there doing work. And I had a guy called Corey who was in my house doing the cameras and whatnot. He's a good friend of mine and been a good mentor as well. And I was like, had all these ideas about wanting to do this, and I was picking their brains because they was doing trade.
Hmm.
So how much do you charge a day? Oh, 150. It's okay. So if I was to give you multiple work, would you give it me for 130? Yeah. All right, cool. So I can make £20 FM a day. Okay, so how much do you normally charge for tiling? Okay, this. So if I charge, can you do it for me for £20 and I can charge £25 a meter? Yeah, 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 that's fine. If you keep getting me work, no problem. So then I literally was doing that, set it up. These guys started doing bits of work for me. I was and then what I wanted to do though, because I'm a bit of a control freak, I kind of wanted to know what they was doing. So
Hmm.
I was going to work with them and just watching, learning, getting my hands dirty, So then I was asking questions. Why are you, I don't know, why is it, what's the difference between positive cable and negative and earth, and why do you use an earth cable, and why do you do this? So I was learning it. So
Mhm.
while I'm so now I can tell you about electrics, I can tell you about plumbing, I can tell you about plaster, I can tell you about tiling, I can tell you about roofing, bricklaying, what time you can lay bricks, what temperature it needs to be. I can tell you all of it because I've
Yeah.
literally made sure that I knew my craft. So when I'm speaking to a customer, like I said, I'm client focused.
Mm.
So I set up that business. I went limited in 2016. So it's going to be 10 years this year. That company's been set up as a limited company. And that was like my main business that kind of put me in a position to be able to become a real successful venture capitalist.
Yeah.
Where I've used funds from making money from them businesses and I've put them into other stuff and took mad risks and built other companies. Now I've got like a load of different companies and they're all doing well. And I've turned my empire into like a 7-figure enterprise,
Wow.
just by literally taking risk and implementing things that I've learned and using contacts that I've got, and just literally steamboiled ahead. And now I've like literally got probably, I don't know, I like to say, not all employed, but in my organizations, there's got to be at least 60, 70 people amongst all my different companies that are
Mhm.
part of it one way or another.
Yeah. And what about I'm assuming your children are teenagers yet?
So I've got one that's 16, one that's 13, a set of twins that are 8 now. There was 8 last week. And then I've got my youngest who's 6. So
Okay.
my last one's last year at school. And it's mad because my 2 oldest are at Thomas Telford.
Yeah.
The school that I didn't make it through, and they're gone all the way through. And they're in top sets. They're very, very
Wow.
clever kids. Like they're doing very well. And they're not in no badness. They're not like, I'm not what everybody says their kids are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, but straight up, like he's been playing football from the age of 8. He's been at contract at Wolves until now. He's
Mhm.
like never been caught up in nothing. Like we've had 2 phone calls from school, and it's for like making too much noise in the corridor, that kind of level. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's because that Thomas stuff. You wouldn't get that phone call in normal public school.
Mm,
The good kids, and like I says, like, yeah, they don't need to worry about anything.
mm.
They don't need to ever think about having to commit crime to buy a car or to pay for their driving lessons and nothing like that. They know that sort of pattern. Like they're good.
Yeah. So because we're in a stage at the moment in the country where young people are finding it, I say young people, but I guess millennials and Gen Z are finding it quite difficult in terms of work, money, that kind of thing. What would you say to like a younger person that kind of, I guess, wants to make it out legally? Wants to make it out legally.
Um, you know what? So what I would say is social media isn't real for one,
Mhm. I agree.
and everybody's chasing perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all been told that there's no such thing as perfect. Yeah. So that's perfection. There's no such thing as perfect. So you're chasing perfection. And you're seeing people on socials and you're seeing them driving around in nice cars and wearing designer and all of this. And that's what kids are thinking is success. That's what they're looking and that's what they're chasing. Now, some of these people probably have got it
Mm-hmm.
and deserve to have it and they can afford to have it. And you've got some people who are robbing people's purses to get what you see. And I think it's all about timing. And it's about, so for me, if I'm educating a kid, I'm first going to say, what is the rush? It's God's timing.
Yeah.
It's not your timing. And as I said, I was the brokest out my bunch. I was, I wanted more, but everyone around me had more than me. And I'm talking like young, like I remember being 18 and I had a van, I had a car, I had a quad bike. Like that was a lot for an 18-year-old at the time, for someone who was like, nobody really had all of that. Now it's more common that you're seeing kids with a lot more now.
Yeah.
Kids
Yeah.
are a lot more ahead when it comes, even on the road, they're a bit more ahead. But I think for me, there's no rush. Take your time. And I think, you know how everyone wants to say, go and get your education, go and get education. I always say, you have to pick your education based on what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that for me, it's like everyone's always like, oh, you don't really need to know what you're doing until you're so old. I think that's bull. I think you need to know, not least to know what job you're going to do, but what kind of life you want to be living.
Yeah.
So if you want to, some people are very simple, you know, they're just happy to just have a nice semi-detached house in the suburbs, got a
Yeah.
kid or got a dog and a cat, go and work a 9 to 5, come home, have one holiday a year. And I'm telling you, some people's dream is that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to commit crime to do that
Mm-hmm.
at all. You can go down the route of college, sixth form. You can work at Audi, and pick up £16 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously they've made it a bit harder now where it does take two people's income more than likely to run a household.
Yeah.
So pick a good spouse and live that normal life. But if you do want to live the high life and the designer and the big house and the big cars and the 4 holidays a year, set that as your target. That's your goal. That's where you want to be. And then write down all the kind of things that you kind of think you'd have to have or be doing to get there. So for me, if you want to be on, I don't know, 100 grand a year,
Mm-hmm.
how can you make 100 grand a year? What kind of jobs are out there, or what kind of degree would you need, or what kind of self-employment would you need to be doing? How much time do you need to be free to be able to do that? Once you answer those questions, you then put it down to something that you believe you'd actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Go and do some experience doing it. Experience, forget pay. Go and do it, because and that's what's bad about the UK. In Germany, they're very more productive because they do hands-on before they do academic. So they'll go and work a job and be like, you know what, I actually love that job. Now I'm going to go and get qualified in it. Whereas here, we'll go to uni, and how much people go to uni and actually work in the field they're qualified in?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
So for me, going back to your question again, if I was a kid, I would take my time. I'd put down what I want to be. I'd write down underneath it what it looks like to get there, what I would need to be doing to get there. And then I would tick off each thing one by one and just
Yeah.
go through it and go through the motions. Nothing happens before it's time. And what you think's for you, maybe not for you. Only God knows.
I agree. It's funny you mentioned time, because that's another thing I was going to come and ask you. Because a lot of people have the assumption, I see it, you probably see it loads on social media and comments and things, that people that own businesses, they'll say things like, oh, I don't want to do 9 to 5 because I want to have this, free lifestyle and things like that. But exactly, I don't think they know how much time, like
Straight up.
you don't stop working, do you?
Okay, so I always say, but a 9 to 5,
Mm,
but I work 95 hours a week.
mm,
Like, no cap.
yeah.
Like, when I'm on holiday, I'm at work.
Mm,
When I'll be on my laptop 11 o'clock at night. I'll be up on my treadmill in the gym replying to emails. I know I've got to pay invoices tomorrow morning. I'll be up on my treadmill in the gym tomorrow paying invoice on my phone.
yeah.
Like, there's no stop. Like,
Yeah.
there's no stop. What I do get out of it is that I can work remotely. So when I'm in another country, if I'm sitting down in Dubai on my laptop working, I'd rather be sitting there than sitting in Wolverhampton doing it. So that's what you get. And I can make what I want, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If I need 10 grand, I can look at my business, okay, how can I put one of these business to position to make me 10 grand? But when you're working a 9 to 5, how many extra hours would you need to work to save up to make an extra 10 grand? So those are the things, but it comes with a lot more work, a lot more. Listen, I had a full set of hair, hairline, waves, curly hair, the lot. From the age of 21, my hair's been bald. Like, because I'm grafting like a flipping madman. It isn't simple. Like, mad hours, crazy hours.
I always say that when you get to, actually, me and my sister was talking about this. I was trying to explain to her, when you get to a certain level in work, even like corporate and things like that, like your MDs and stuff, like they don't stop working. And it's a thing where, like, well, why are you not answering your phone? Because I'm paying this much. You should be answering your phone.
I've got people in my circle who are worth millions, like stupid amount of million, like ridiculous, and people amongst them billionaires, like I got ridiculous amount of money of people around me, like that kind of level, and straight up, like, you have to book in to have a conversation on the phone, and these are close people. Like, the only way I'm getting them, if I need them, if it's an emergency and I've got a text saying 999, it's an emergency. Otherwise, it's not important. Same with me. If you're not on my to-do list, you ain't getting back from me, because I'm prioritizing my list. I live off a tick list every single day, and if you're not on my list, it's not getting done.
Yeah.
The only thing that's number one on my list every day is pray. Like, and it's as simple as that. Like, if you're not on my list, you're not a priority, and that's because my kids are my focus, and everything I do is for them. Everything. Like, I'm gonna make sure they have a serious, successful life, and I'm not gonna just give them. I'm gonna give them opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, I've already shaped my daughter around finance. I want her to run the finance enterprise of everything. If my son makes a professional footballer, he ain't allowed to go and buy a car unless she approves. And that's how I'm going to be setting it up. Like, I feel like, yeah, as you get higher to the top, you do get more busier. And everybody wants you at your time.
Yeah.
The more bigger you get, everybody wants your time.
Mhm.
It's as simple as that. Everybody wants your time, and I'm happy to give, and I do believe it's God's work to share. And even this year now, like I'm hoping that someone will see this and get some form of inspiration from it, even if it's one person,
Yeah.
because it's God's work. Like I'm spreading love, and I'm not out here trying to promote hate or nothing. And that's what I think every day that I try and do. And it's a simple life is simple. You have to learn, apply, and then teach. And I think if you just implement that, and obviously the saying it, what's the saying? If you teach once, you learn twice.
Mhm.
And I think that's like how life has to be. Just literally a graft, and I implement things that I'm learning and I'm teaching,
Mhm.
and then everything else should fall into place.
What? Because you're a businessman in England, so the notion at the moment is you can't have a business or be a businessman and live in England. You have to go to places like Dubai, Thailand, etc. What keeps you in England? Obviously, I know your kids are here, but I mean, like, financially.
Again, even though I'm a delegate, I'm a bit of a control freak.
Hmm.
Um, so if I've had stuff abroad, like for argument's sake, like I want to do like some investments abroad, like probably in Africa, probably Jamaica. I don't know. Africa and Jamaica, probably somewhere I probably want to do some stuff. I've got a couple of people around me that do stuff out there. But how I would need someone there every day to kind of make sure it's all good. Here,
Yeah.
I've got it boxed.
Hmm.
Even down to like the legal system here, you've got a lot of protection.
Hmm.
In Africa, it's not so protected.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, like over here, I've got businesses that are good for here. I don't think like I don't know. Like I've got a beauty salon that would probably do very well in Dubai, but it is basically Dubai in England. What I've set up, it's like a massive like 5,000 square foot salon that offers over 400 treatments,
Hmm.
and it's got like we do everything,
Yeah.
and it is set up like Dubai. But maybe something like that. But property is something that I could probably do abroad. But I develop here, don't I? It's like I buy land and develop, and but I've got all the workforce here. So to do it abroad, it would be kind of like I don't know. I think if I was going to do a business that was online business, then I could probably be more remote. But nothing's grabbed me. I'm all about
Mm.
what I dream and what I feel, and everything. Every business that I've set up, I've had a vision of it, and
Yeah.
that's what I run with.
Yeah. Because in terms of taxes, obviously everyone goes away because they don't want to pay the
But
taxes.
again, there's loopholes.
Mm.
And there's remember, and I think this is what people fail to realize. 'Cause a lot of people are not educated. A lot of people just speak based on Instagram reels
Mhm.
and what they see on Instagram and what they see people talking, but they don't dwell. All these conspiracies, people think they're gospel, but there's loopholes, and there's the two things. You've got tax evasion and you've got tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is 100% legal. Tax evasion is not legal.
Yeah.
So if you're like avoiding paying tax by spinning stuff, then by all means you're doing it. The government officials are doing it. Like it's 100% legal. So there is loopholes. You can set up holding companies and put companies underneath and take yourself off as a director and have yourself go through that and pay yourself through that company, pay your corporation tax to lower your tax bill rather than being as a normal income tax and paying up to 50%, round that down to 21%. So you are going to always pay tax, but you can leverage that. You can have business meetings abroad. Do you know what I mean? And so there's ways around it. You can live a good life. Like I pay tax. Do you know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
hate paying it, but again, it has to be done.
So going back to your book, what made you want to write a book?
Um, so I've always been someone amongst my peers and my elders, someone who always wanted to do more. I always wanted some form of togetherness. I also always wanted some like community, and I think that's because my dad's very much community. He runs a football academy with over 400 kids in his setup, and a lot of footballers from Wolverhampton who've gone on to be professional have come through my dad's setup.
Mhm.
And so I've always wanted to kind of help others. So when I wrote the book, it was about getting out information that's going to help somebody. So like my first 10 chapters has got chapters in there like life as a jigsaw, boiling water doesn't always burn. I done a good video on that the other day, actually, to be fair, which was good for the guys that were on the street. I actually might speak on that.
Mhm.
It's got chapters like treat life like a rose. Obviously, a rose wasn't always a rose; it was once an unattractive seed. So all of these things to try and give people like a kind of a mindset of like making that. It was called the transition. The book was
Mhm.
so making that transition from one place to another. That doesn't mean going from the street to being legal. It could mean going from unfit to now fit, going from
Yeah.
being depressed to non-depressed, all of these things. So when I wrote that, it was about putting some of the things that I learned into something that can help others.
Mhm.
And then that was like 10 years ago. So when I added the second 15 chapters, now I kind of hit hard because now I know where I'm at now. Where I'm at now compared to then is crazy. So that book's called The Transition, but from the streets to the boardroom.
Yeah.
So obviously straight away people think it's from the streets, but streets is about mentality. I've gone from chaos to strategy,
Yeah.
from chaos to systems, and that's what I've done. So now when I'm putting, so some of those chapters in the second 15 is like a chapter like billionaire mindset. So you talked about mindset earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm not a billionaire. I'm hoping to be one day, but I'm not a billionaire, but my mindset's like a billionaire. Because when I look at people like Elon Musk and that, and Richard Branson, all these guys, and I'm looking at all of these billionaires and even your Donald Trumps and stuff like that, you look at their mindset and I think, okay, well, these guys are their mindset are all the same in a sense of becoming a billionaire. So if you change your mindset, that's what makes you a billionaire. Obviously, you got to put strategies in place, but the mindset is what creates the strategies and the systems to go to become a billionaire. So that's like one of the chapters. I got chapters in there. I don't know what else is in there that I could probably speak out. Billionaire mindset. Master your morning. Like mastering your morning. A lot of people are getting out of their bed at 11 and 12. Like get up, have a routine, master your morning. Like chapters like that. There's loads of gems that you can implement, and it's got reflection questions as well. So at the end of each chapter, it's got like questions that you can actually have to read in the chapter, but like, okay, how does this relate to me? And then you've got like a page where you can write notes on.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of reflect back to it. So it's not a book that you just sit down and read through. It's something that you kind of come back to and understand your Bible.
So do you feel like you are where you want to be, or do you have much more to do?
I'm the bamboo stick. So like the bamboo plant is like, it grows underground for 50 years, deep and deep and deep, and I'm only just coming out. I'm not even started. Like people see, I'm telling you straight up, like I'm not even just saying it. Like what people see is nothing to like what's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like again, what I'm trying to create is community. So it's not just about finances. Like profit can be made. Like that's standard. I know how to earn dough. But what I'm trying to build is community. I'm trying to make the place healthier, trying to make people feel better, I'm trying to build homes, I'm trying to give people, I'm trying to help charities. I'm trying to do things to make the world a better place. It's as simple as that. And that, like, that's you know what? Purpose before profit, one of the chapters in the book. Purpose before profit. A lot of people are chasing profit. And also people are chasing ego. I chase purpose.
Yeah.
The purpose is correct and you do it with the right intention with a good heart, profit will always come.
This is the book, The Transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where let people know where they can find the book.
So the book's on Amazon. So there's a hard copy. This is like the hard copy, like the proper tough case one. So you get the ebook on there. I think that's about cheap. I think that's about £8. And then you got the soft cover, which is £19.99 or £24.99. And then this one's expensive. This one's about £45. But yeah, this is like got 25 chapters. Each has got reflection questions. So you can like tells you like the 4 stages of wealth, and obviously we got stages like for stability, freedom, growth, legacy, and you can't miss a stage in order to go through. Again, it's not an autobiography, so it's not about me. I do give examples of certain things that I've been through. Like for argument's sake, people are like, there was like when you were saying about fear, like I remember when my twins were born prem.
Yeah.
They was born 3.5 months prem, both born dead. Had to spend 4 months in hospital, had to have brain surgery, had to have a shunt. One's got cerebral palsy, he's got like, he lost the tip of his toes and can't use his one side. And I had like, they was basically saying to me, the chance of survival is not going to happen basically. And I didn't fear at all. Like, even in that sense, I had no worry. The mum was obviously very distraught and thought it was the end. And I was kind of like, nah, like I knew. So like, I speak about things like that. So like, it's all good saying to people in it, you gotta have this kind of mindset, but there's no point speaking it unless I've been through something to kind of break it down and say, this is why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
But I actually do, like, I'm not even just saying it. I haven't even calculated sales or nothing. Like, I don't care. Literally, to get the book published, I self-published it as well. And Amazon do the print, so it's print on demand, and they charge an extortionate. So I don't care about profit.
Yeah.
I just want to make a difference, and the book will 100% change. Like, I know people that have read it who have come back to me, says it's a game changer. I even had somebody read it and said they read 50 Cent's 40 something laws of power. He's written a book. I know that you got Robert Greene's version, 48 laws of power, and I know 50 Cent's got his version. And someone even said this is better than that. So 50 Cent might need to give it a read.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming down to the store today. I will link the link to the book in the description. Let people know where they can find you if they want to connect, your businesses, etc.
So I'm on Instagram as rj.thelink. That takes you to my Instagram, and then on there you'll see all the different companies that I operate. If you tack on to some of them videos or whatever you see, it'll take you to whatever business you're interested in, whether it's property, whether it's hospitality, whether it's bars, property, everything. Like there's different. You'll see different companies that I'm associated with on
Amazing.
there.
Thank you again. And that's a wrap. All
How
good.
was that?
Good, 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 good.